Let's jump right into this explainer. If you're a new learner, getting behind the wheel can literally feel like stepping onto a battlefield. But don't sweat it. We're going to frame this as your ultimate practical safety guide, breaking down the basic road signs and priority rules so you have total confidence out there.
Okay, get a load of this quote, because it totally flips how we usually think about driving. No one has any rights, only joint obligations, right? It's not about aggressively claiming that you have the right of way. Driving is actually all about active collaboration. We're all part of a shared system, and your real job is to protect vulnerable folks out there, like kids, the elderly, and people with disabilities. Avoiding obstruction is on all of us.
So here is our game plan for this explainer. We're going to cover the anatomy of the road, the defensive driving mindset, the hierarchy of precedence, speed limits and adaptation, and finally, how to navigate those tricky, ambiguous rules.
Let's kick things off with part 1, anatomy of the road. We really need to physically map out the space you'll be navigating.
The foundation really starts here. When we say the road, we're not just talking about the blacktop where the cars are driving. It's the whole shebang, everything put together. The inner lanes, the outer edges, all of it. Getting this terminology straight is step 1 to mastering those basic signs and rules.
So here is the distinction you absolutely have to memorize. The carriageway, that's both driving lanes combined. That is your main territory. But the hard shoulder, that's the area totally outside the carriageway. Think of it as a safety zone for pedestrians, cyclists, moped drivers, and really slow vehicles. Now sure, you can dip into the hard shoulder briefly if you're helping facilitate an overtaking maneuver, but if you do, you've got to be hyper careful. And if you're the one driving on that hard shoulder, you are strictly obligated to give way to the folks on the carriageway.
Moving right along to Section 2, the defensive driving mindset. This is the headspace you need before you even touch the gas pedal.
Think of defensive driving as your proactive armor out there. It makes things so much safer for everybody. Basically, it means taking absolutely zero unnecessary risks. You keep wide safety margins, you stay hyper-vigilant, and you do not let stress take the wheel. Just take your time. It's all about anticipating what might happen, analyzing a situation completely before you react, and making things clear to others. You know, making eye contact at crosswalks, driving smoothly, and hitting those brakes nice and early. Let's make this concrete. Picture yourself driving up behind a cyclist, and they're riding right next to a line of parked cars. A defensive driver is already anticipating danger. What if someone suddenly throws their car door open? That cyclist is probably going to swerve right into the center of the road to avoid it. Knowing that, you absolutely must leave a massive safety margin when you pass them. You basically have to assume that swerve is going to happen.
All right, Section 3 brings us to the absolute climax of this explainer, the hierarchy of precedence. What do you actually do when an intersection is just throwing mixed signals at you?
This right here is your ultimate driving cheat code. When you're getting conflicting messages on the road, you just follow this exact 1 to 4 order. Number 1, at the very top, police signals, including traffic directors. Number 2, traffic signals. Number 3, road signs. And finally, number 4, general rules, like the priority to the right rule.
So, let's play this out. Imagine you're pulling up to an intersection and you see a solid green light, but right next to it is a red stop sign. What do? Well, since traffic signals rank higher than road signs in our hierarchy, the green light wins out. That stop sign only matters if the traffic light is completely broken. So in this case, nope, you are not supposed to stop. Keep on rolling.
Into Section 4, speed limits and adaptation. It's time to bring those strict numbers back down to the messy reality of the real world.
Because here's the thing, you can't just blindly trust the painted numbers on a sign. You are legally required to adapt your speed to the reality around you. Are you in total control? Can you stop if something jumps out? You have to factor in other traffic, how heavy your car is loaded, its condition, and of course the weather and road conditions. And hey, adaptation works both ways. You can't just randomly slam on the brakes or drive super slowly for no reason, because that creates a whole new hazard.
Now, speed signs are the boss, but if there aren't any around to guide you, you need a baseline. Commit this to memory. 50 kilometers per hour. That is your basic default speed limit inside any built-up area.
And the second you leave those built-up areas, if there's still no signs, that baseline jumps up to 70 kilometers per hour.
But let's look at a worst-case scenario. Say you are outside a built-up area, heading toward a blind bend, and the road is covered in black ice. Technically, the limit might be 70 kilometers per hour. But driving 70 in that specific scenario, it's incredibly dangerous, which means it's actually not appropriate. You have to adapt your speed way down because of the ice and the terrible visibility, regardless of what the basic rule allows.
Finally, Section 5, Navigating Ambiguous Rules. This is the stuff that really intimidates new drivers, those tricky legal gray areas. See, some rules are just math, like don't park within 10 meters of a crosswalk. Easy, right? But what about the rule that says you have to give way to pedestrians who are about to step onto the crossing? How do you judge that in real time? Is that guy just waiting for you to pass? Or is he literally about to step out? What does about to actually mean out there in the real world?
Since there is no magical definition for that in the handbook, you just have to make a reasonable judgment call in the moment. And if you get it wrong, you face a pretty stark three-step judicial reality. First, you get reported for not giving way. Second, a court looks at those vague rules and applies them to your specific split-second decision. And third, the court gets the final say on whether you broke the law. You really just have to hope your judgment on the road matches the judge's judgment in the courtroom.
So, to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If the road is built purely on joint obligations rather than your personal rights, are you truly ready to prioritize collaborative safety over just stubbornly demanding your right of way? True mastery of driving isn't just memorizing signs. It's being ready to protect everyone else every single time you turn that key. Keep that in mind next time you head out.